Welcome to the Nordic Stitches podcast. My name is Lily. I'm coming to you from my home in central Norway. I am a Norwegian knitting designer. In my podcast, I talk about my designs, my spinning, knitting, yarn, and other crafts that I dip my fingers into along my crafty journey. My entire life, I've been passionate about and fought for human and animal rights and the environment. And because these passions have a huge impact on how and why I craft, I also talk about these things. I love, embrace, and fight for diversity. No matter your background, you are welcome here. I hope you'll stay with me throughout the episode, maybe grab a good beverage and something to craft on, and let's get this podcast started. Hello and welcome to the Nordic Stitches Knitting and Everything Else podcast here on YouTube. This is now a channel which holds the podcast, the vlogs, and tutorials. I have my show notes right where you are today, so I am going to try and not mess this up. I am recording with my phone today just because my batteries are all flat. I have 5 batteries for the camera and they are all flat. It's like 10 to 12 minutes left of recording time, and for some reason I did not charge them yesterday in preparations for the podcast. However, enough with the ramble on that. Welcome to new and returning viewers. If you are new and you like vlogs, you might wanna stick around for the announcement part. I am coming to you from my home in central Norway. I am a knitwear designer, like all the intro before this said, and I also have fibromyalgia. And every year my fibromyalgia acts up a little bit worse than it did the previous year. And I react very much to cold weather, and so it's already cold here. If you're not watching Vlogtober, you will not know this, but yeah, it's already frosty. It's just around the corner so that we get snow for the first time. And yeah, it's not pretty for someone who reacts to that kind of weather. But this year I have so little energy and the pains are worse and everything is just magnified. Compared to last year, I would say that it's gotten twice as worse. And that will affect the podcast. I am not saying that I will never podcast again, but this is the last podcast, at least for a couple of months. I am only going to show the finished things that I have, just because spending time and energy when you don't really have much of it, continually showing things you've already shown before is quite literally a waste of my time. I need to rearrange things in terms of how I live. In terms of how I do things. I can't do half the crafts I used to do, and so the podcast will be affected. I will probably record 1 or 2 at the max podcasts for the remaining of this year, but I can tell you that whenever I do daily vlogs, like now in October, I almost said Vlogtober, not like now in October when I do vlogs every day, or if I choose to do Vlogmas for December, for example, I'm just not going to podcast. So this is an exception only to show you the things that are finished and to actually update you on that and a few other things. So that basically means that if you are interested in the things that I knit and the things that I design, you just, vlogs. If I don't do daily vlogs, I will probably just make random vlogs throughout whenever I have time and energy to do so. And if that for some reason is something that you weren't expecting, I've been open about my disease and my life since day one, and I can't change that. So if you don't feel like sticking around for that, well, thank you for taking the time anyway, just to hear me out, and yeah, bye. For those of you who choose to stick around and enjoy the vlogs when I upload those, and the designs when I publish those, thank you, and let's jump into the part of the show notes that I do remember. So, I have a Christmas sock club coming up. I have collaborated with Sophie of Pixie Yarns. I am not going to show you the patterns, but I will show you how the yarns knit up because they are so gorgeous. I came up with the patterns, the ideas for the patterns, and it's going to be musical themed again, like last year. So not musical as in a musical set up on a scene or a movie, but you know, music theme. A lot of ramble. And I sent Sophie a message asking if she would be interested in collaborating with me on the club this year because I love her yarns. And I told her the pattern names, that I wanted the yarns to have the same names, and what I imagined the yarns would look like. And on the first try, she absolutely nailed it. I have footage of them all in hanks as well, but this is what they all look like. Now you may think, that's not really Christmassy colors. Let's go through these. So this, just gonna make sure I don't show you the pattern. They are all secret until released. So every Friday starting November 29th, they are all secret until they actually are released. So for every test knitter out there, no point in sending me messages asking to be test knitters. I have a list that I go through and send out whenever I need. But they are also club exclusives. I will not be publishing these as single patterns. I like the whole exclusive thing. You're a part of something, and the hashtag on the club is already on Instagram if you want to follow that and stay updated as the patterns come along. But the club will be available for pre-sale November 1st, and I do believe, I'm not going to say this for certain because it's Sophie's business, but I do believe that Sophie of Pixie Yarns will have the first update on these yarns November 1st. So that if you want to knit these socks with these yarns, which I really think you should, because oh my goodness, I think that that would be awesome. So this is the colorway Sugar Plum Berry. And I'm recording with my front camera today just so I can see what I'm doing. Sugar Plum Fairy. So pretty. And remember, the yarns and the patterns are the exact same. So that is the colorway and pattern, Sugar Plum Fairy. Jingle Bells. This is such a fun pattern. Sorry. And then we have Auld Lang Syne. Just gonna remove my DNA. And last but not least, I'm not showing you the order of the publications of the patterns though. I'm just showing you the yarns. I have a different setup for how it's going to be released. And this is Nutcracker. It is so beautiful. I think of all the colorways, this is the one that really just hit home for me. Now it's very weird. I designed this sock club trying to capture the moment of every single one of these songs or, you know, musical. And so I don't have a special relationship to Nutcracker and Sugar Plum Fairy except for that I love the music because I listen to it for Christmas. But jingle bells and Auld Lang Syne, I do have very warm thoughts and feelings about. I absolutely love this club, and I am so thrilled to talk about these patterns when they will be released. I sent Sophie a picture of them all this morning, and she is thrilled as well. 2 of the patterns have simple lace. 2 of the patterns have texture. They are not beginner friendly specific this year. I have designed patterns for beginners for 3 years, more than 3 years, and I really wanted to kick it up a notch this year. Since I've started to make tutorials, there are a couple of tutorials coming in terms of this club, so that will be up probably around the time for the first sock pattern. But if you are a confident beginner in terms of you know how to knit, you know how to purl, maybe to yarn over and decrease and increase and stuff like that, like knit 2 together, and so you know, it will be perfectly fine. And yeah, I will be linking all my tutorials in the patterns, so if you get stuck, you know, you can go and get video help. And that is the club. I haven't spun much, and by that I mean very close to 0, just because well, for the reason I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast. One of the crafts, it seems, that I have to put away for the colder season is spinning, which sucks because I really love spinning. Me and my drop spindles have been companions for these last 2 years, and it has been so much fun making so many wonderful yarns. But I was planning on spinning for the handspun along that Jade of So Perfect Purls and I are hosting together. Jade is a lovely podcaster, spinner, and maker over in the US, and she asked me if I wanted to co-host this along with her, and I jumped on board and I said yes. So it's gonna remove a notification. So it's for handspun yarn, short and sweet like that. You can spin yarn and enter, or you can knit with handspun and enter, or you can do both and enter. And all the rules, the guidelines rather, are listed in the groups, and I will be linking both Jade's podcast and Ravelry Group down below, and Instagram of course, because there will be prizes. And I will link those in the details below, where you can find anything, including timestamps. So there will be prizes. It's a good thing I said that out loud, because I do have one of the prizes right here. This is 100 grams of fiber from Spin Monkeys. I don't know if they make fiber anymore. 100 grams of Christmassy red, I'd say, fiber ready to be spun up. It is called no, it's called Rambouillet, also known as Romance, I think. 3.65 ounces, and I speak metric, so I have no idea what that means. There we go. One of the prizes for the handspun along. This will be the prize that I draw from Ravelry. So the finished objects thread in Ravelry. Finished yarn, finished anything with yarn you spun or someone else spun, as long as you've spun. All the rules and the guidelines are in the Ravelry group. Yeah, I'm doing this without show notes. I'm flying blind. Yeah, there will be a prize from Instagram. I have it, but not with me. And so you're just going to have to, you know, pay attention to the vlogs coming. I want to announce another thing. I've come out of the closet as a wool allergy person. Yeah. In this vlog, I don't know where the eye is going to pop up, but if you haven't been with the Vlogtober series here on the channel, I talk about it there. But in short terms, it means that in February I got ill to the point I've been ill for a while, but in February this year I got so ill that I ended up in the emergency room. I couldn't breathe, I itched, I had blisters all over my skin. And the skin, by the way, is the biggest organ you have, so you can imagine. And long story short, turns out I'm allergic to wool. Now that is ironic on so many levels, and it still isn't something that I am over. I am not yet aware of all the yarns I can use, but we do know, the doctors and I, that the more rustic the wool is, the worse it is, because it affects me from top to toe, inside and out. So I know that I can use merino and silk, but rustic wools and alpaca, bye, out the window. Meaning that all the lovely, I get very emotional when I talk about this. Perfect excuse to have a sip of tea. All the yarns that I had purchased from Reuma, like the lamb's wool, I really thought I could do with the lamb's wool because it's supposed to be allergenic free, you know, you're supposed to be able to use lamb's wool. No. Wool allergy is so rare, there's no medication for it. And when something makes you sick, you stay away from it. I've had questions, can't you just use something else underneath? And well, no. When you're allergic to something, you get away from the thing you're allergic to. And for me, that just so happens to be wool. Yeah. Like I said, I've not come to terms with it. There's a long road of finding out what I can use. And it's going to be very expensive because, yeah, it's going to be a lot of trial and error. And also sucks that I can't use alpaca because alpaca isn't wool, it's hair. So it's weird. Anyway, that's the sad story there. Sums up to the total of me having to reknit my entire wardrobe, and it affects the knitwear designs. It affects every single part of my knitting and crafting life, actually. It's just, yeah. So like I said in the vlog, I laugh about it now, but it still gets me very down. So that was the wool allergy out of the window. I haven't talked about what I'm wearing. Can you tell I'm working without show notes today? So this is the Saga wool kofta, except for that it's a long coat. I have wanted to knit one of these forever, and I finally did it. Yay, I finally did it. I showed it off in its entire glory in the previous episode, so I can include a couple of pictures and a video of it as I talk about it here. This is knit. One of the reasons I keep talking about Holst Yarns Noble Base is because it's one of the few yarns that I know I can use, except for, you know, the fancy schmancy super expensive merinos and silks. I absolutely love the Noble Base from excuse me, from Holst. That was just working its way up there. It's Geelong wool and cashmere. Now for Geelong wool, that took a lot of Googling, but it seems to be as close to cashmere as you can get in terms of softness. So basically, my skin is now a princess, and it needs to be very particular about the things she wears. Anyway, I can wear the Noble Base from Holst, and I knit the entire thing in that yarn. I'm knitting mittens with it now, and I'm knitting a kofta with it now. I haven't knit anything on those since I recorded last, by the way, which is super sad. But, you know, I have had work to do. So, I've also released a pattern, if it's not very obvious. In 2016, I started this podcast. I'm not going to talk about these today. This is a shawl I'm knitting with handspun, and this is a pair of socks. They're not finished, so I'm not going to spend time talking about them, just because that's a new thing I have. But I'm going to clean them away so that you can see the pumpkins. It's pretty, me and the pumpkins. I made this pumpkin in 2016, not long after I started the podcast. And I got so many questions these last 3 years. Oh my goodness, where is the pattern for that pumpkin? And I said, in here, sorry. And it's finally now a pattern. I have loved re-knitting this pattern. I'm going to gift this big beast away. This is the original with crocheted stems. I have now made tutorials for the pinehole cast on, how to finish the pumpkin, and how to make these curly bits to put on here, just both with crochet and with knitting. So you can choose which one you prefer. So this is the original. So cute, it's so squishy. And I've also made a version that is completely stockinette. And they are all, not gonna say it out loud, but some of you know what I was thinking right there. I wanted to make 3 different versions while I was still at it. So I made a pink pumpkin in stockinette. And this big beast that I'm gifting away for Halloween, this is massive, is garters. So you basically get 3 patterns in one, and yeah, you know, feel free to make a sofa pillow. This is so huge. Oh my god, it's so squishy and lovely. Oh my goodness, I could fall asleep right now on that. And they look good everywhere, wherever you put them. I've seen people knit them up so small, and they were so adorable. Yeah, they have their own hashtag on Instagram, so if you want to check it out on Instagram, you should, because they're so adorable. I haven't checked out the project pages on Ravelry, but I hope there's some of them there as well. And then there's these 3, which are my favorites. Well, the 5 remaining in the frame are my favorites, really. So I've talked about these 2. Remove the red. And then these 3 are, all of these I've used just cotton yarn and 4.5 millimeters, I think. They are super adaptable. You can knit them with any yarn and any needles, which is something that I keep saying when my goodness, I'm shedding like a cat today. They are super adaptable. You can knit them with any yarn, any needle size, and just have fun. The pattern is available for just over $1, so less than $2. You get 3 different types of pumpkins, clear instructions as to how to knit the pumpkins, how to shape the pumpkins, and how to make the stems, plus videos to help you out. So I will be linking directly to the pattern in the description box below, of course. And now for a little bit of a blanket talk. You have probably seen it while I've been moving about. This is my now finished scrap yarn blanket. It measures approximately 155 centimeters tall, so almost as tall as me, because I'm only 160 centimeters. I'm very tiny, at least, you know, that way. And it's approximately 1 meter wide, and that means it's perfect for the sofa. I set out for this being a blanket spread, a bedspread, October 1st last year, and I just really wanted to finish it before October 1st this year, and I did. I finished it a couple of days before. So it's knit center out with, I think it's only a handful of squares in here that are from the same skein. And I love it. It's not the warmest of blankets just because it's fingering weight and it's superwash, and we all know what I think about superwash. Doesn't keep you as warm. It's just the nature of it. So I've cast on for another blanket in fingering weight and superwash yarns, but that will be a bedspread for summer and spring and fall. And for winter, I'm just going to have to use 2 duvets. So there you go. I will include a video of this in its full glory. I mentioned the along for the handspun that Jade and I are co-hosting. Now, if you're interested, that's the word I was looking for. Jade and I actually went on a live stream together on Instagram, and she's downloaded that and uploaded that to her channel. So if you want to see us together talking about the handspun along, I will link the video here. And then I want to talk about Ko-fi. I was recommended this by a viewer. I've talked about it in extensive length on the Vlogtober, so I will refer you to Vlogtober, and the title actually has Ko-fi in it, so if you want to know more about it, you can check it out there. But the short version is that a viewer asked me if I checked it out. I did check it out because she was kind enough to include a link, and turns out it's a way for people to support creative creators. That's a mouthful, especially when you're not English. When they can, and based on their own wallet, short version. So I am on there now, and just thank you to everybody who's bought me a cup of coffee. It just blows my mind. I was not prepared for the reception of that announcement, and it is beyond me. Everything that I earn from that will go into me one day opening my own website with a shop with my patterns and thingamabobs that I make for knitters, and a blog. Not a vlog, but a blog. A vlog is video, a blog is written. And just have a little bit of everything in one spot. There will also be a newsletter, and yeah, I've just wanted to do that for so long. Okay, so that's that. I do believe that I do not have anything else to add today. It is a shorter episode, but that's only because I'm talking about the things that are finished. And yeah, check out Vlogtober. Don't leave the channel just because I'm done podcasting full time. I will make plenty of videos, tutorials and vlogs, and oh my goodness. And no, I'm still not decided if I will do Vlogmas. We will see. I will decide at the end of October, starting November, if I will do Vlogmas. You will just have to pay attention to the vlogs coming to see if I announce anything, but still not decided. I also have an announcement for 10 winners of the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. 10 people will win one of my patterns from my Ravelry shop, and they are all linked below. I am going to do it very easy. I have the show notes on my phone, so I'm going to copy that and paste it into my computer when I'm done with this. If you see your name and your beautiful comments on the screen, please send me a message either via email or Ravelry ASAP, and tell me what pattern of mine you would like me to gift you. Single patterns, not clubs and collections, but single patterns. And I will gift that to you. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. And after we started doing Vlogtober, it's been shooting up in the air. It's more than 600 subscribers more than the last time I podcasted in a couple of weeks, and that's quite incredible. So yeah, that was the prize announcements. Now let's check out who won. Congratulations to everyone! Yay! It's amazing. It's lovely giving things away. Anyway, that was it for the giveaway. And again, just thank you for being a part of the Nordic Stitches community. I really do appreciate every single one of you. Every single thumbs up, every single comment, every share. I just thank you. You help me rank in search. You help me reach a broader audience, and for that I am extremely thankful, not just for me but also for you, because in the comment sections below the videos and to the posts on Instagram, there are people with your interests and potential friendships, and the thought of people getting to know each other through my videos and through my posts on Instagram is just kind of amazing. And so I embrace that, and I just really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for being here. I am going to finish my cup of tea and edit this video and today's vlog for Vlogtober. And I'm going to knit on my new mittens that I can use because I am very cold. And maybe even knit on my kofta this weekend that I showed you that I started last time I podcasted. Haven't knit one stitch on that kofta. I've actually started the rib for the mittens, so there's that. Anyway, thank you for sticking through me and all the ramblings. Yeah, it's just things have to change. And instead of just logging off and saying goodbye, I'm going to take you on the journey of the never-ending roller coaster that is Nordic Stitches. Oh my goodness. Just when you think that you are settled in one way, something else comes along and you need to change it. And Yeah. Being chronically ill and doing all of this isn't easy, but it is worth it because the community is lovely. And I just want to say at the end, thank you for being a part of it. Whoever you are, wherever you are, be kind, be good, spread love and acceptance, embrace diversity because without it, it is no beauty. The world is for everyone. And the sooner we all are on board on that and act from that, the world will be a better place. Okay, so I'm going to include a little bit of clips of what you can expect from Vlogtober if you haven't already checked it out. And yeah, thank you for spending your time with me when there are so many others out there.